This week on We Are Rhonda, we discuss dating snafus, explosive grandmas, hot sexy mayonnaise, and terrible advice for your bad questions. Last week, we helped out Toby, who left us this warm message. Thanks, Toby. Welcome to episode 2, The Wingman Who Learned to Fly.
Hello and welcome to We Are Rhonda, an advice and lifestyle show by Rhondas for Rhondas. Recorded on our early evening smoke break at the start of our midnight shift. I'm Rhonda.
And I am Rhonda.
And I'm Rhonda.
You won't believe the day I've had. I've been shat on all day in this city. I've had pieces of the city clinging to me. And I've had a smile, a Midwest smile on my face the entire time it's been happening. So first of all, this morning, there was snow everywhere. I walked out of my apartment and I take in a deep breath. I smile at the white, and immediately a guy dusting off his car flings this snow directly in my face and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I smile at him. I go,
At least he apologized. I mean...
Yeah, well. Next, a snowplow almost runs me over as I'm walking to the train and is flinging these pellets of thick salt at me. And so I had to run away from it and try to not get cut up by this shrapnel. Aww. And that got all over me. But immediately behind that snowplow flinging salt was a street sweeper picking it back up again.
That's responsible.
Finally, at work, I was in the kitchen, and this coworker who I never speak to, but I just see all the time, we nod at each other, decides this is the moment to strike up a conversation. And he's asking me how my day is. He's also getting some soap out of the pump dispenser, and instead of it going in his hand, it shoots across the room and goes all over my pants. And I go, ha, 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 they needed washing anyway. And he says, yeah, you smell good now. So I just don't know when it's going to hit a fever pitch. I feel like I'm internalizing this too much. But that's a very Midwestern thing to do.
It is. And I feel like that's so nice because you always hear that New Yorkers are cold and brute. You know, and Midwesterners, you're bringing that charm, man. You're charming the pants off these people. You got a New Yorker to apologize to you. That's a win, my friend.
Hey, what happened in your week?
I went to Walmart for an oil change, and I don't know why I keep going there because every time there's some sort of just controversy and travesty. But this time they told me it was going to be an hour and a half wait. And I was like, that's fine. You know, I have some grocery shopping to do. I'll just dick around the store for an hour and a half. Got some candles. I went back to the auto parts place. And first off, they lost my keys. They could not find my keys anywhere. And then some guy is yelling at everyone. He's the manager, and he's yelling at everyone because they can't do their damn job because they lost my keys. And then they find my paperwork, and he's like, yeah, they didn't do your oil change. And I was like, what? But that's the only reason I came here. I've been wandering around the store. I touched every item in the store. I've been here for so long. And he's like, well, we didn't have the oil filter that your car requires, so sorry. And so some other guy comes around the corner and he's like, if you go to the auto parts store down the street and buy it, we'll install it right now. And the manager was not having that. And he was like, see me in my office. I'll tell you why we don't do that. And so I think this kid got fired. But anyways, I went to the auto parts store to get this oil filter. And they're like, I don't know what kind of oil filter your car needs. This website says it's either this or this. So you have to buy both. Because I don't know. And he's like, so he's like, you have to buy both. So I did. And I was like, can I return the one that doesn't work? And he's like, yeah, but we close in 10 minutes.
Is it Firestone that has the store commercials where they're people coming into the store and they're like, well, your problem is this. Except at your store, instead of actually identifying your problem, they're just like, it's like,
I don't know.
And they let you
So the last time I got an oil change, I got it at the same Walmart. And the manager was like, who did your oil change last? And I was like, you did. And he's like, that's impossible because whoever did your last oil change didn't put your air filter back in. So I've been driving around for 6 months with no air filter. He was just like, that's impossible. We would never, we here at Walmart would never make that sort of mistake. This is Walmart Auto Center.
What do you think this is, ma'am? Fucking
Walmart?
It's not fucking Walmart. Good day, ma'am.
So you guys, should we just hop right into Help Me, Rhonda?
Yeah, I think so. I was surprised
I know.
that we had some people who need our help.
Okay, well, there's actually quite a few, and some of them are just kind of goofs because I did post that to social media, and some people were just like, I'm going to fuck with their podcast and send some stupid thing from Mike Pence. Which,
that sounds good.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
too bad.
But first off, I'd like to thank all of our submissions. It was very kind of you to take this seriously, the ones who did. They just trusted me enough to email a random email address that I threw at them and ask questions, and that's really touching.
Do you think these are also people who typically respond to those Prince with the money emails?
Without a
Spam
doubt.
emails?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think they're getting something out of this. Take it or leave it, you're getting an answer.
True.
Here we go. To start it off, something weird happened to me yesterday, and I'm going to read you this chain of texts that I received.
All right.
So I met this guy on a dating website probably 2 to 3 years ago. His name's Alan. I haven't talked to him in many, many years, pretty much since I met him, because he's not funny, and he told me that like one of his personality traits was that he has this great sense of humor. And so he's in my phone as Alan the Abysmal Comedian because I hate him. So I get a text yesterday from Alan the Abysmal Comedian, and it says, "Hey, it's Alan. I was going to ask you on how easy it is to get a big tractor tire." And I said, "What?" And he said, like a used tractor tire that's at the farm. Like, could I use somehow, or get one easily? And that's exactly what he said. It makes no sense. I don't think I'm friends with him on Facebook or Twitter or anything. And so I said, is this about my post about advice? And he said, no, LOL. I don't think I saw your post today. And so I was extremely confused because I know nothing about this subject matter. Nor do I know this boy. So I said, okay, then what are you talking about? He continued to elaborate because I need to help him. He said, okay, well, I'm going to try a new workout. And in this workout, some of it is using a giant tractor tire, any tire from a combine, just an oversized one. And I was finally like, I'm sorry, but I think you have me confused for someone else. And he just responded, this is not my Aunt Michelle. I'm sorry. He's trying to text Aunt Michelle on the farm and get a tire from her, but he accidentally texted me, this dating website girl that he never has spoken to, that he made a terrible impression on.
I thought maybe he was trying to like coyly let it drop that he's doing CrossFit now, because that's what they do. They like flip tires and get ripped.
Yeah, does that happen anywhere but Iowa? Because sometimes I'll be driving and just see like a field of tires and I'm like, oh, that's a gym. You know?
Yeah.
It's like normal. And they're like, I'm pumping iron. What? Gotta get ripped.
How did that start?
I bet it was like a bunch of farmers. They're like, gotta move those tires today. And then the next day they woke up with these swole muscles. And they're like, that's a good workout, damn. And then
And their
word
families
spread.
are like, whoa.
All of a sudden, they spontaneously woke up with like Nike tight shorts on.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
hulked right out.
So wait, are we gonna answer
in the
this guy's
field.
question?
It's a question that was presented to me.
Of course.
Rhondas don't turn away questions.
Exactly. Rhonda would never turn away that question, especially. I guess the answer is you got to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, because one of those tires is going to pop off of one of those combines, and you got to be ready there for it.
You've got to just drive behind those babies every time you see one and just wait.
And you have to grab it. You have to be the first one to grab it, because when it pops off, you got to be so ready for all of these wannabe CrossFitters to jump out from the bushes or the field, wherever you are. And you're going to have to fight your way through the horde.
Before even that, the farmer driving that thing's going to want it back.
Well, yeah.
He's got places to be.
And
it's
he
not
needs
a
that
leisure
tire
drive.
to be at those places.
Exactly. So you've got to be faster than the farmer. That's really the answer. There's also county fairs. They'll have usually a surplus of those large tires.
I might also suggest children's sand pits.
Oh, yeah, because that's an Iowa thing, too, I think, is people will have those big old tires, fill it with sand, and throw their babies in it.
Yeah, they can't get out because
of those high tire walls.
With Florida, it's just trunks and swamps. Throw your baby in a trunk. Leave the trunk in a swamp. Leave the baby there.
there are tire swings also that you can...
I don't know if those are big enough to get really ripped.
Well, you're going to have to start somewhere. Like, I went to the store and I got the most weights that I could get. And then I could barely get them into my car. And you better believe it, I didn't lift a single one of those things to my chin.
I think Oprah has a pretty good methodology to finding things, like the power of thought. And if you really want that tire, you got to think about yourself with that tire. And then it'll happen.
Ask the universe.
Yeah. And the universe will give.
You did this. This is how this question reached us, is that you put it out there that I am receptive now to a few of your questions about how to do life in a way better than you're doing it.
This is a dangerous answer, though, because you could answer this to any question. Just ask the universe. So I think we should just cut that. That's not an answer anymore, ever. We can never use that again because it's too dangerous. You can't ask the universe for everything. Yeah, I think we answered it, and we didn't even have to. So a half-assed answer for that is totally fine.
That was a freebie.
Yeah.
And you're all welcome.
Yes. Dear Rhonda, never listener, first-time writer. I'm thinking about getting into the stock market. How do you get stocks? Where are they? What are they? Who's Warren Buffett? How much money do I have? Where's my money? I need to leave something behind for my children after I die in 6 months, and I think stocks are the way to go. Please provide me with free financial advice. Signed, the Stocks Dummy.
I mean, obviously put all your money into a Bitcoin. I just find it, inspiring that this person who's terminally ill is trying to do the responsible thing, give their children who they're leaving behind a chance to ride that wild Bitcoin surge.
I have pretty low expectations for this question submitter because they are not even sure where their money is.
Okay.
Yeah, step 1, find your damn money.
Yeah,
step
where
2,
is it?
Mine your own damn Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm. Did you check the mattress?
That's a good point.
Did you check your pocket?
They seem like the type who would have their money in their mattress money, because it's not in a bank, obviously, otherwise they would have a bank card that says US Bank and they'd know where their money was.
Okay, where are the most reasonable places that this money could have gone to? Slot machines?
Let's just assume that this person who's terminally ill is going on a wild ride, right? So a casino would be a place where you might go.
Here's my advice.
Not your house, though.
Fuck the children.
Yeah.
Is this
That's
the game
my
of
advice.
life where at the end of your life you get $10,000 per child? Because if so, then you found your money.
Fill your van with pink and blue children. Just drive. That's my advice. Fun story. I used to eat those pink and blue children. I would chew on their heads until they were flat, and then I would swallow them like a pill. It was my favorite thing. Should we go on to the next question? I feel like we can't help this person because my advice truly is just do everything for yourself. Don't leave your family now. You only have 6 months to enjoy your life. Just leave.
Nobody left you shit when they died.
You worked for everything you can't find, and now you run. Just get out of there.
Cash in your children.
I have another question. Seth wants to know, what questions do you always ask on a first date, and what are some deal breakers in a relationship?
Yeah, I like to be really upfront and be like, what do you do? Get in their face.
What is this, a date or something? That's what I ask.
Hey, bitch, what do you do?
You're paying for this, right? I like to ask that one right up front.
I have a new approach, though, to dating. This is not an answer to the question, but some people I know go on dates to get free food, and that's a little bit, sociopathic and...
A little bit, but I do it.
Not when you're hungry.
It's totally a thing that we do, but that doesn't exhibit the full grandeur of vision that we as single people should be enjoying. And so I've gone on now 3 dates in which I have been treated to free shows. So, like, if you have the access, and then never talk to them again. If you have the access to somebody who has free tickets to somewhere, it doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter what show either. It's kind of like a meal, but for the eyes and the senses.
I much prefer a meal for my mouth.
Yeah. Follow-up question, though, Donald. These 3 dates that you never saw again, what was the deal breaker?
I don't know. I just forgot about them, I guess. I don't know.
That can happen.
I mean, it was their idea, so...
It's a hobby. Using and abusing people is a romantic hobby.
Yeah, maybe that's a good question. How are you going to use and abuse me?
That is a good first date question. I like to ask, like, what's your grossest habit? I asked that, and one guy told me he doesn't own a pair of nail clippers. He just bites his finger and toenails. And I was like, I'm kind of into this.
It's an accessible part of your body.
I know, but to go out of your way to not buy clippers, I don't know. We've all been there. I mean... Sometimes it snags on your sock and you're like, this will not do. It's fine in an emergency.
But what are some lines that have been used on you?
I've gone on some of the worst dates. Like, I don't even know where to begin because every single date I've been on has been trash. When I was younger-ish, I went on a date with this guy who literally said no words to me the entire meal. We were at Olive Garden, and he was just smiling and nodding his head at me the whole time. And I was like, I was asking questions that needed responses other than like, yes, no. And he would not say anything. He was just like nodding his head the whole time. And I was like, okay, there's clearly something wrong with this guy. The worst part was we were done eating and I was like, oh, thank God, I can get out of here. The waitress came by and she's like, anything else? And he ordered another beer. So that I had to sit there longer and talk. And I was just, I knew he wasn't asking questions or answering questions. So I talked about my knowledge of reptiles. And that went on until he finished his beer. And it was awful. And then the waitress came by and was like, 2 checks? Like, she was really uncomfortable because she knew what was going on. And he didn't say anything. And I was like, I'll get it. And then he wanted to see me again. It was terrible. Ugh.
I'm not saying that everyone needs to go to Applebee's for their first date, but I'm just saying that if I were taking Applebee's on my first date and you got me the chocolate blondie, I would be very, very happy.
That's fair. Those things are bomb. I don't know if they have those anymore.
Also, Red Lobsters. I'm obsessed with Red Lobsters. I'm just throwing that
They're
out
stuffed
there.
mushrooms.
Oh
my God.
That is I cannot stop talking about their stuffed mushrooms.
Eli really cannot stop.
Since I met Donald, I have mentioned Red Lobster a solid 3 times a month.
Have you guys ever gone?
No. Is that a future plan?
No.
You gotta go.
But Eli, if you start your dates at Applebee's, at least the only way out is up.
I feel like if you go to Applebee's on a first date, I feel like throughout the meal that you're experiencing the entire relationship as it dwindles away. And then you can just break up at the end of the meal and part ways, sign the divorce papers, and never see them again.
That's the receipt. That's why they have it printed on the receipt.
Yeah. Because that's where you go to end your love.
Y'all have such a negative view on Applebee's and just great restaurants in general.
It might be an okay place to start a relationship, come to think of it, because, I mean, you don't owe that stranger anything except this very slightest acknowledgement that they are another human being with whom you're doing a thing. And so Applebee's kind of suits that.
Yeah, I guess.
But
eating good in the neighborhood.
Second date, but like, hey, guess where we're going for Valentine's? Applebee's. That's really slamming your hand down on the self-destruct button and pumping those brakes like just
and you're
until
like,
there's nothing left.
I guess second date Applebee's is fine. And then they're like, same time, same place next week. And you're like, no, I don't think this is working.
That could be a romantic love story. Like, you guys didn't fall in love until like the 15th time that you met at Applebee's at the same night, same place, watching football.
No, that's called Stockholm Syndrome.
Do you guys have any other questions that you like to ask people to really get down to the nitty-gritty?
If you had to choose one food for the rest of your life, what are you bringing to Mars with you? That's a really stupid situation, but
I like that question, though, because I like talking about food. My answer is obviously cheese, but there's so many cheeses that I want to eat for the rest of my life.
Wait, but if you say cheese, does that count as a specific enough answer? Like, is there like
I don't know. How much room does this Mars ship have for cheese? Is there a refrigerator?
You're going to be living on it for the rest of whatever you're living for.
no, but there's space. You can just dangle it out the window and it'll stay cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Just reel it in when you want to thaw it out, I guess. Go cheese
Space
fishing out in
dust.
space. Can you imagine? Stick your cheese net out the portal. I love it. Okay, I really like this idea.
I asked a bartender this question once, and she looked at me. She just said, "Bone soup." Then she started telling me about how there's a lot of nutrients in the marrow,
Ew.
and if you boil down the bone, you
Oh my god,
It has everything you
love
need.
marrow. Dude, okay, so...
That's just broth. That's
yeah.
not a soup.
Well, because, whenever my grandma would make chicken, background information, like this Puerto Rican old woman, she would just throw in an entire fucking chicken into a bowl. Afterwards, the meat is so tender, it just falls off the bone, and then you should see these, 86-year-old people just breaking bones in half and chewing them and swallowing them, just, raw. And I'm like... Grandma, you're a fucking savage, dude. And then she'll call me a fat ass. And then I'll sit down.
I went on another date with this guy. We went bowling, and we were waiting at the bar for our drinks. And they had this trivia thing on the TV, and you use this little remote to answer the questions. And I was like, that looks fun. Let's play that. And he said, no. He wouldn't let me play. And so I was like, okay. And so we got our drinks, and then we started bowling, and he was making jokes, but they were really racist, and I was not into it at all. And I was like, I think I'm going to leave now. And he's like, you can't leave. We're only halfway through the game. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to leave right now. And I ran out of there. I grabbed my shoes, and I was still wearing, I still have this pair of bowling shoes because I grabbed my shoes and ran. And he chased me out of the establishment to my car, grabbed me, kissed me on the mouth, and I slapped him across the face and got in my car and zoomed away. And then the next day he texted me and he's like, I told my friends about you. They said they're gonna kill you.
What
yeah.
the fuck?
No! I'm really glad that you didn't take the time to return those bowling shoes, and they were like, what size are you? And then they gave you back your stanky also other shoes. And then by this time, this guy would have been, I guess, murdering you. I don't know.
Do you still have his phone number?
I don't even know his name.
Now?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was probably 6 years ago. But do you want to hear about another cool date?
Yeah, always.
So this one started because my mom and I were at a Mexican restaurant, and we had this clean and crisp waiter, and he was really nice. And so my mom was like, leave your number on the receipt. It'd be funny. And I was like, okay, because we were drinking margaritas, and I thought it was a good idea. And so I did, and we were at the mall after dinner, and he texted me already. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, guess what? So I went on a date with him. I had him meet me at this bar, and I brought my friend Jake with me for protection because I don't know this guy. This guy shows up, and he's wearing this dirty white t-shirt and really baggy shorts. Shorts, but they were pretty much down to his ankles.
Not at all what he was wearing.
And not even close. He was wearing a tux when he served us. So I didn't even recognize the guy, but he was the only other person in this restaurant who was alone. And so Jake was like, I'm pretty sure that has to be him. I was like, there's no possible way. And he walks up to the table and he's like, hi, Michelle. And it was him, and I was like, oh, Jesus, oh, God, okay, this is fine. Jake, stay here forever. Please don't leave me. This guy starts telling us about how he lives in California, but he got caught smuggling weed in a Hy-Vee parking lot in Iowa, and so because of his parole, he can't leave the state for 9 months. So he's waiting out his time here until he gets to go home to his girlfriend and dog. After he tells us that, Jake leaves. leaves. And I was his ride. And I was like, Jake, where are you going? Where are you going? I drove you here. And he's like, I'm just going to walk home. And he just walked home and left me there with this man.
What a good wingman. Wow.
I never called him again.
Yeah. I hope he got home to his dog.
And his girlfriend.
This highlights a very important bit of advice that I didn't even realize that I had. Never proposition anybody in a uniform for a date because you do not know what's hiding behind that facade.
That's what I learned.
You don't know what you're going to
Yeah,
get.
if they're wearing that black Applebee's apron.
That is just a smoke screen.
But also, can I just say that I think that Applebee's would be an excellent place to ask for a waiter's number? Just because they can only go up from there.
Yeah, and they at least know how to microwave.
Yeah.
And they could probably drop some really dope-ass puns. What's your favorite Applebee's pun?
Is that a thing?
On their menu. Have you never read?
They
Are you
don't
illiterate?
have puns
yeah.
on their menu.
Yeah.
Wait, was that our idea?
That was our idea to call them appletizers.
Oh.
Me and Donald went to Applebee's one time, and I asked the waitress, did I ask her to speak to a manager?
Yeah,
I'm
you
pretty
did.
sure I requested to talk to the manager. I was like, I have a really important question. Why are these not called appletizers? And she's like, I have no idea. Should we answer one more question?
Okay.
It's from Pat. Pat wants to know, how do I choose a new place to live?
Oh, Pat's moving. Okay, let's see. here.
I'm assuming, yeah, he
Well-
wants to know. What are some amenities that are really important to you guys that you look for when you're looking for a new home?
A playroom. That's very... a place
Yeah,
to have my
do
toys.
you have a playroom?
Yeah.
Would that mean like
Place to
like
put
a
your blocks.
video game room?
Well...
Like is that a man cave?
For
Come on.
actual toys, there's a separate place for a man cave. A toy room is completely different.
Okay.
You know, a room full of chests full of toys that you just
That's
play
fun.
with. Yeah.
Very important to me. Something that I did not check when I moved to this place that I always regretted was that this is not within Jimmy John's delivery radius. So that's really important to me. Probably a lot of people. It's really important because Jimmy John's, they make the best sandwiches.
I had Jimmy John for the first time at UCF, the University of Central Florida. They reminded me of Quiznos, and thought process is that Jimmy John's is an upgraded Quiznos.
Quiznos, they warmed up your sandwich, got your mayo all hot.
Didn't your entire family get food poisoning, Eli, from Quiznos?
Listen, okay, my love for Quiznos will never be betrayed, but yes, my entire family got food poisoning from Quiznos.
I think you're in an abusive relationship.
With Quiznos? Yeah, no, definitely. Well, because Quiznos was always by a GameStop, and I would annoy the GameStop workers all day, and then I would just go eat Quiznos, like their kids' meals, because that's all the cash that my parents would...
Would you bring it into the GameStop?
No, I would eat my stuff and...
Let them smell that hot mayonnaise.
They probably smelled the hot mayonnaise that was all over my clothes, or like whatever my chin was.
Why'd you get it all over your clothes? You're like, yeah, hot mayonnaise. Spread it on my chest.
Like Vicks.
Well, ask the kid who needs to hang out at GameStop 24/7. I'm pretty sure like that was my parents' way of giving me daycare because they would just leave me there for like 2 hours while they went to the mall and did actual stuff.
That's pretty smart.
My family got sick, and I remember the one thing I remember from that entire night of us being sick, because it happens in a night. It's like an explosive mess of just diarrhea and vomit, things coming out both ends. I wake up in the middle of the night, as did the rest of my family, and I just hear my grandmother vomiting so hard that she is violently screaming into an echoey toilet. And that was the first time I've ever heard her scream. And she was like 65 at the time, so I've never heard her speak above like a little like a room level. But she's just in the bathroom going. My entire family was coherent enough to just leave her be in the bathroom.
That is Grandma's bathroom now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. She had that territory.
I love the sound effect. Like.
No, that's exactly how it sounded. Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. That was pretty good.
When I worked at Dollar General, the air conditioning broke. It was in the middle of the summer, and the thermometer stated that the inside of the building was 90 degrees. So everyone was cooking, we were all dying, and our customers were complaining. And every time someone would come to the register with mayonnaise, I was like, please don't buy this mayonnaise. It has been cooking on the shelf for days. That mayonnaise is 90 degrees. Do you want to put that in your family? And I would always convince them not to buy the mayonnaise. So we had this overstock of all this hot mayonnaise for so long. And eventually I just threw it out. I just was like, the store's taking a hit on mayonnaise because I cannot sell this to humans.
In good conscience.
No. I went to a rad as hell Dollar General in Nashville. It was like a Walmart. Like, it had a clothing section and a fresh produce section, and it was big. Yeah, it was awesome. I stopped there.
That's where the dream
It was
lives.
rad.
Yeah. She's doing well.
I felt that mayonnaise, and I was like, perfect. This store is perfect. I would eat that mayonnaise with a spoon.
You're just like,
Nice and cool,
what a
just
good
how I like
temperature.
it. Oh my God, another mayonnaise story. When I worked at Hy-Vee when I was a child, you'd have to like face the shelves, recover the shelves to make them look like they weren't out of product. So I was in the mayonnaise section, and I, for some reason, was like, I really want to know what it looks like when mayonnaise breaks on the ground. Because I was just really curious. Like, I had all these glass jars of mayonnaise, and I was like, I could
Does it
easily,
splatter?
I could easily just accidentally knock one of these jars off. And so I did. I was like, whoops. And I knocked it on the floor, and it just went glorp. And it just like stayed, like half of it stayed in the mayonnaise jar shape, but half of it like plopped like a dripping ice cream cone. And so it was like flat with this perfect round jar half of mayonnaise, and it made the best sound. You couldn't even hear the glass break because the mayonnaise muffled it. It was so good. It was like my favorite thing I've ever seen, and I'll never get that back.
There's a way.
There is a way.
There is a way.
There is a way. I would feel way too guilty now. Like, I could do it because I work there, and I'd be like, oh, yay, now I get to get the mop out. My second favorite thing in life. I get to mop a store. That was a good day in my life.
I was a floral decorator at Publix when I was 14.
That's fun.
What's Publix?
Yeah, I got to... Publix is
I call it
southern...
Publix.
Is that a funeral home?
Publix, yeah, sort of like that. It's just a grocery store in Florida. You know those green styrofoam blocks that they sell at Joann's and Michael's? And you know the texture that comes off of them? Like when you crunch them? I know!
I love those so much.
I got to stick each individual flower stem into the green block and to let it hear that like satisfying like...
God.
Like, oh...
I used to chew on those. But it falls apart like sand in your mouth. Yeah, I used to eat them, okay?
I wish I was like as open to adventure. I think I'm an adventurous person, but I don't put anything in my mouth.
I put everything in my mouth. I said it. I heard myself say it. I'm curious. I'm a little curious kitty. You gotta put everything in my mouth.
Well, mouth curious.
We should all try to be more like Michelle. Just put...
More mouth
You
curious.
Yeah, more mouth curious.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode of We Are Rhonda. Thank you for listening. And if you have a question of your own or an answer, please send it to us and we will figure out what the question was. Got to send it, though, to a place where we can get it, which is wearerhonda@gmail.com.
Also, follow us on Twitter at We Are Rhonda.
Rhonda is spelled with an H after the R. R-H-O-N-D-A.
In case you don't
As though
know.
you didn't know that.
I'm still here.
Yeah. Coming soon, wearerhonda.com. So who knows what'll be up there? Probably some shit.
Lots of shit.
Oh yeah, please subscribe.
Yeah, do that.
bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye!
The way my mom and I end every phone call is, okay, bye.